and staying in the environment without being particularly aggressive about it. So the idea is if you wander out in your awareness into daydreams or reminiscences, whatever, you just notice that and come back to how the body feels, presence. Very simple, and it's not something to maintain. So you're not trying to stay here like aggressively. You're just noticing that you've gone. When you notice that you're gone, where are you? You're back here. And you don't really have to do much. It's very simple, and insofar as you're able, don't evaluate. Don't get into some kind of evaluation about how much you're here, how much you're gone. Have a good time in the sense of whatever occurs, just be with that. So if you find yourself daydreaming for 15 minutes about building a storage building in your backyard next summer, then just do a good job. You're done, then come back and be here. So it's more about not going to war. I like to use this kind of mudra. Wham, wham, wham. Don't do that. When you see yourself doing this, this is how it looks. When you stop doing it, this is how it looks. And just reflect on this. When you stop, you stop. And there's still some of this going on. It's kind of a residual, it's kind of a momentum of that kind of activity continues. So you'll still feel something that you might think needs resisting or needs addressing or something you need to fix or do something to. Don't do anything. Just observe that. Just observe that. And because it's like a fire. If you just watch the fire, it's still hot. It still burns. It still throws out light. But if you just watch it, it will go out. If you do anything else with it, if you blow on it, fan it, put fuel in there, do anything to it at all, stir it up, it's going to just keep going. If you try to, of course the image only goes so far. Obviously you could throw it, you could throw your coat on it or something, put it out. So we could always discuss this, and you can win. I'm not going to. So the first day, yesterday, was the idea is to have an emphasis on just sitting, on mindfulness, or shine, as the Tibetans call it, or resting in tranquility, calm abiding, which is more about how it feels after you have done it for a while, not so much as a goal. By not doing much, by not fanning the flames, feeding the fuel, or anything, discursive thought, daydreaming, and so on, eventually everything just kind of relaxes and you're just very simply here. So today, we'll go to the other aspect of meditation practice, which is awareness, or vipassana. Vipassana is the Sanskrit for, it's been translated several ways: awareness, panoramic awareness, it's insight. And it seems to be necessary to actually have some stability in your practice, some kind of calm abiding, or just being here without much of an agenda at all, whether to get up or not get up or continue to be here, for awareness to begin to arise. We kind of, you might say, we actually do the mindfulness practice. It's a practice that we sit down, perhaps you've heard me say before, you need a beginner's mind is like after you get to the cushion. Before then, you need to figure out some way to get to the cushion. So you need to strategize, plan, have that on your agenda, put it on your list. It's 8 in the morning, it's time to sit. So you have to do a lot of thinking around that to even get there. But then once you sit down, beginner's mind, just no agenda, other than very simply to observe and see what arises. So it's very passive, you might say. And I also want to say, when I pause, it's not because I'm thinking about what I'm going to say so much, as I'm waiting. So it's not particularly, I mean, I might never say anything else. It's a really nice time to start talking yourself. Because then you wouldn't be interrupted. But it somewhat has to do with the idea of trusting yourself. Just allow things to be what they are, moment by moment by moment. And recognize the constant speediness of our mind to jump to something, get to something. We don't really want to have a gap anywhere. It can be a little scary if there's a lot of self-centeredness or paranoia. I'm not talking about kind of paranoia we usually see, we call paranoia, but just that simple kind of distress about what's up, that's going on with us, or what people think, or what we think about what they think about what they think about us, and what we think about them thinking that about us, and what we're going to do about it. So the beginning of that is once you begin to recognize that, you can slowly, you might say, allow that fire to go down. If you don't add to it, here again, like I said, I think last night, is there is a rationale, there is a logic, there is a reasonableness with all uppercase letters about going to war or doing something or solving something or fixing something. There is, I mean, we can all have a logic. I talk to people about this all the time. About this is why I'm doing that and that, why I need to do this and can't do this and need to do that, why I'm not going to go into retreat, and why I'm going to do this because I'm doing what you said, I'm trusting myself. And you know, a lot of times that, especially when I talk to somebody who's very intelligent, which is quite often, smarter than I am, and they explain to me exactly how things are working for them, they're right. Someone did do something or mistreat them, or something occurred. So there is a logic behind it. And so we need to acknowledge that and then drop it. Because if you follow that train of thought, that's how samsara works. It's on the logic of cause and effect and cause and effect. They did this, so I need to do this. So they did this, I can't do this. Some kind of ego logic about survival and about maintaining one's identity, one's credentials, one's value, built on conditions rather than an ultimate understanding. So I'm not saying that your logic doesn't work. But I'm saying if you follow that, you will continue to kind of bog down and then come out into the sunshine again and then bog down again. So the idea is just observe what happens, and if you observe that, eventually it starts to just lose its glamour, lose its seduction to suck you into some kind of ego logic about protection that you should do, some kind of agenda about, covering your butt. And no one can do it for you. You have to do it. A teacher, he or she, can't even point it out to you unless you give them permission. And by give them permission, you have to actually ask questions about that. Because generally, someone may be able to see what you're doing. They can't help you because they can see that you aren't going to listen. You're busy making statements about the nature of your world. Making statements. This is how I feel. This is what happens here. This is what happened here. And this happened. And I did this, and I'm going to do that. And so on and so forth. So unless there's some kind of space and relaxation around that, where you might ask someone, so this is going on here. What about that? What's going on there? Can you help me with that? Or something? Some kind of